Hey guys, so I wanted to make this video to talk to you guys about my morning routine as a CNA for when I'm getting people up in the morning. And usually at the facility that I work at, we have anywhere from 4 to 6, sometimes more get-ups. But usually on the get-up list itself is 6. However, my facility doesn't always keep the list updated, so um, like, for example, we've had residents pass away who were on the get up list, and the get up list didn't get updated for a couple weeks. So, you know, they had 6 people on the get up list, and one of those people was deceased. So they were no longer even residing at the facility, but that's besides the point. So I just felt like it would be helpful to kind of share my routine and how I do things. Just for those of you guys who work night shift and maybe need a little bit of inspiration or advice on how to go about getting up your residents in the morning. So basically, I will start from the time that I get to my shift, just to give you guys a little bit of a basis to go off of. Normally what I do when I get on shift and clock in and everything is I will, obviously the first thing I do is clock in, and then after that I will go try to find whatever CNA I'm relieving. Sometimes it's more difficult to find them because, especially at the facility that I'm currently working at, they tend to try to run out the door as soon as they see the next shift coming in, which I absolutely hate because, especially if I'm working the rehab unit, which is our more acute unit, obviously, then if there's a new admission or somebody that was not on the unit the last time I worked over there, then I don't necessarily know anything about the person. And so it gets kind of difficult when you're trying to know how to take care of a person if nobody shares the information, but that's another story as well. So anyways, back to my morning routine. After that, I usually do like a whole first round. I go and check everybody, make sure everybody's breathing, everybody is dry, and I usually around this time I try to set out like if the person's getting up, I'll set out a towel and 2 face towels at least, just to make sure that, you know, if I need to wash them up or something, then I will have everything in the room already. I usually try to set out a few briefs so then in the middle of the night I'm not like fumbling around the room looking like an idiot trying to find like all the supplies that I need. Everything is kind of laid out for me. I find that it's easier when you do that just because you're kind of setting yourself up to be successful on your shift. And so after I do that, there may be downtime. I basically will answer call lights, find out if there's wheelchairs that I need to wash. Usually at the facility that I work at, you are assigned 4 wheelchairs a night, sometimes more. It depends on if the person has like an appointment or something the next morning. Then they'll have like on the assignment sheet they'll have they'll write the number instead of on the list that's laminated. They'll have the person's room number written down. So I'll go do that, and then anyway, that's still not part of the morning routine. On my second rounds, which I usually do around 1:30, depending on which unit I'm on, I will, if there's people who can be dressed and left in bed, unless it's somebody who's combative or who barely sleeps and is finally sleeping, I will get them dressed to the point where I will like put their deodorant on and kind of, you know, wash their underarms and things like that. I will put their shirt on. I won't necessarily pull it down all the way if they're a heavy wetter, or I will put the chucks underneath their shirt and pull the shirt down so then the chucks pad is underneath the shirt. So If there's any leakage from the brief, which can happen even if you apply it correctly, then it has a better chance of going onto the Chuck's pad than it does going on their shirt and getting the shirt all wet and making you change the shirt again. And usually I will also put on their pants at this time, but I will leave their pants by their ankles. Now, normally I will tell you, if it is a person who is someone who I'm supposed to get dressed, but then they want me to leave them in bed, that is how I always leave them. I will never pull up their pants unless I know it's somebody who like tears their brief off or something like that, just because if the day shift CNA comes in and wants to do rounds with me, I want to be able to physically show them without them having to pull down everybody's pants and all that stuff. I want to be able to physically, easily show them that everybody is dry, clean, and all of that good stuff. So I'll leave the pants around the ankles and have the Chucks underneath the shirt. And usually that's about it. So 1:30, and then I try to start, it depends on the unit again and what's going on. I usually start my final rounds but anywhere between, I want to say like 3:30 and 4 o'clock. It all just depends on what type of night I'm having, if it's crazy, all of the above. So it just depends on like the atmosphere of the unit, how things are going that night, and all of that. And when I do that, since I've set myself up, even if something crazy happens, you know, I've dressed the people who can get dressed. Now, like I said, there will be people who are either heavy wetters to the point where you don't want to do that whatsoever. Like they will literally soak everything, no matter what you do. Believe me, I've had it happen. There's a couple people that I've cared for throughout my time as a CNA where no matter what you do, no matter how many Chucks pads, no matter what, they soak the entire bed, like all the way down to the fitted sheet, every single time. So it's just a matter of person. But like I said, shirt, Chucks pad underneath the shirt, pants at the ankles, and it just kind of makes it easier because even if things go crazy, you at least have yourself set up, so then you don't have to try to go running around like a chicken with your head cut off, rushing at the end of your shift, trying to get everybody dressed and still get out of work semi on time, even if shit hits the fan. So, I mean, basically all you would have to do then is do like a final rounds, and check and change. And like I said, pull up the pants if they are somebody who is either going to pull their brief off, which there are people, especially dementia residents, who do that, or if they are somebody who's getting out of bed, obviously you can't leave them with their pants down at their ankles. But usually I try to, like the people who actually have to get out of bed, I try to do them last, just because you're really not supposed to get people out of bed until 5 a.m. However, if somebody is trying to get out of bed or is being like super crazy or like, you know, whatever, I have had to get them up before 5 o'clock. Like I said, you are not supposed to do that. At least in the state of Indiana, you are not supposed to get people out of bed before 5 a.m. It happens. Sometimes, like I said, if they're trying to get out of bed and they won't stay in the bed, or they won't stay like in a position where you feel safe leaving them on their own, then that's a different story. You obviously have to be an advocate for your patient and make sure that they are being safe. But that's kind of how I do things. I try to just make it as easy as I can and kind of set myself up for the fact that you know that things can go wrong in an instant, and it's better to be prepared, to have everything laid out for you. Like I said, that's why I lay out their clothes, I lay out their socks, I lay out briefs, I lay out everything. I make sure wipes are there because my facility does use wipes. I make sure that I have soap. The soap bottle is where I can find it for the morning. If it's somebody that I'm washing up, I make sure that if they need gloves in their room, that I am stocking the gloves, because lately our facility has been locking the supply room door, so we haven't even been able to like stock supplies on night shift, which is insane. But you know, I just do my best to make sure that everything is set up so that even if something crazy happens or if something goes wrong, like, I mean, you never know. There are so many things that could go wrong in an instant that it's just like super unpredictable. I mean, you could have a very calm night or you could have a very crazy night, or you could have both within minutes of each other. So I hope that helped you guys. If there's any other advice that I can give you or things that you have questions about, please let me know. I am still working as a CNA at this point, and I'm not exactly sure how much longer I'm going to be working as a CNA, but for now, it is my job. I will obviously update you guys whenever I no longer work as a CNA, but for now, it is my job. And like I said, I hope you find this helpful. Again, if there's anything that you need advice on, questions, all that good jazz, please let me know. And since I've been uploading daily videos lately, I will see you guys tomorrow.